In the VIP lounge at Los Angeles International Airport, businessman Richard Carter looked nervously at his wristwatch. His morning meeting had run long, and he had caught his flight at the last minute. He breathed a sigh of relief as he took his seat in the luxurious lounge reserved for first-class passengers. Soon, however, his eyes were drawn to the door. A tall, young man entered. He was wearing a simple t-shirt and sports trousers. He looked around as if he didn't know what to do. Richard narrowed his eyes. He doesn't belong here, he thought. The attendant looked at the young man's boarding pass, smiled, and showed him a seat. But Richard was surprised to see such a casually dressed man in the VIP lounge. When the young man took his seat, he rolled his eyes and sighed sarcastically, muttering, "Is it that easy to get a first-class ticket now?" The young man looked back at him but said nothing. Instead, he opened the tablet in front of him and began to read something. Richard continued to be uncomfortable with the young man's posture. "I guess kids from rich families can spend their father's money and hang out in VIP lounges now," he muttered. The young man looked directly at Richard. "Is it your habit to judge people without knowing them?" he asked in a calm and gentle tone. Richard shrugged. "I can only speak from experience. Usually rich kids don't know what responsibility is. Everything is handed to them on a golden platter." The young man smiled slightly. "So, you think so?" Just then, the lounge attendant brought the young man his coffee. "Here you are, Mr. Barron, your special coffee." Richard's expression changed in an instant. Barron. Barron Trump. Richard opened his eyes. The only person he recognized with the surname Trump belonged to one of the most famous families in America. He looked at Barron with squinted eyes. You're from the Trump family?" he stammered. Barron nodded. "Yes, but I'm so much more than my name." Richard's face flushed. "I'm sorry, Barron sighed slightly. "You have preconceived notions that only rich kids are spoiled, but my life hasn't turned out the way you think." Richard looked at him curiously. "What do you mean?" Barron spoke without averting his eyes. "People have judged me only by my last name, but I'm trying to make my own path. I'm studying artificial intelligence and technology at Stanford. I've invested in a few startups, and the only thing I inherited from my father was not my last name, but the discipline to work." Richard squirmed in his seat in embarrassment. "I was wrong." Barron smiled slightly. "That's all right, but maybe you should try getting to know people before you judge them by their looks or their names." Soon the flight announcement was made. Barron stood up, turned to Richard, and extended his hand. Richard shook his hand without hesitation. "Barron, nice to meet you." "Me too, Richard. I hope that one day you will have a moment when you overcome your own prejudices." Barron Trump headed for the door, with quiet but determined steps. As Richard looked after him, he felt something change inside him. Maybe life had taught him an unexpected lesson. This story is a powerful lesson about how it can be wrong to judge people by their appearance and surname. Barron Trump's character emphasizes that he deserves respect not only for his family's reputation, but also for his own efforts.